Today we are going to discuss this paper SAR gave us last week. A 19.2 percentage efficient indium phosphide heterojunction solar cell with electron selective titanium dioxide contact. So basically, that solar cell structure looks like this. You can see p-type indium phosphide in here, and there is a light violet, very thin layer of titanium dioxide, and the indium oxides, and silver. This is coming from this finger. I hope you all know how finger is, because you have already learned silicon solar cells in the class, and you might have shown the electron collecting silver contacts. So this is that part. So this is the basic structure of the solar cell which we are discussing in here. So the electrons generated in here have to travel through this titanium dioxide. So the barriers, titanium, if the titanium dioxide is thickens up, so electrons cannot move. It's a barrier. So if titanium dioxide is thin, then electrons can move, so you will get more electrons. That is the basic theory behind this whole paper. So that is the basic theory behind this whole paper. And this is the voltage and current graph, which we IV graph, so which we get. And you can see 19.2 percentage efficiency, and this is 785 millivolt voltage. So we are going to discuss this paper, how they did it, how they achieved, and what are the things they have done to achieve this efficiency, and what are the other papers um, which they are reviewing in related with their paper. So the problem is the problem in one word is transition metal oxides as selective contacts for third four solar cells. So this third four means the third group elements and fourth group fifth group elements, basically indium phosphide, selenites, like that. So you can search, there are other elements also, but in this case we are taking indium phosphide. That's why it is called third fifth solar cells. So in the literature, in this paper they have they are mentioning that indium phosphide solar cells, there is a solar cell, indium phosphide solar cell, came before, and with fully MOCVD, metal oxide chemical vapor deposition, and that is really costly. The instrument itself is have a huge capital cost. So that one is 22.1 percentage efficiency. So and another solar cell came later, which is with the cadmium sulfide window layer, and that is 17.4 percentage efficiency. So these are the two papers in literature. In the same way, they have this paper is discussing. So what they have done differently from this solar cell is, they have they made this titanium dioxide layer using low temperature atomic layer deposition. ALD is atomic layer deposition, and that is 120 degrees Celsius only. That is just above water, water boiling temperature. And they also used a hydrogen plasma treatment. So they got 19.2 percentage efficiency, which is competing with the MOCVD results. MOCVD based fabricated solar cells. So we will just go through the device directly. So this is how the device looks like. You can see indium phosphide wafer, and atomic layer deposited titanium dioxide, and ITO over it. So you can, right now you can look at this process flow, so that when I explain you will understand how it is going. So after that ITO, then the silver grid. You can see the silver grid you are already familiar with. So the finalized uh, look will be like this. Look of the solar cell will be like this. So you can see this is a very small solar cell for testing purpose only. I'm talking this for the new students who never saw a test solar cell, or never heard about it. So you might have seen the bigger solar cells, but for experimental purpose we make very small solar cells like that, and this is 5 millimeter only. Okay. So first, as the first step, they are depositing an ohmic back contact that is contains zinc and gold. They, you can see the nanometer, how length it have, 20 nanometer and 100 nanometer gold. So this is very thin layers, and these are sputtered back of the indium phosphide wafers. So you can see, you are already familiar with silicon wafers. Similarly, this is an indium phosphide wafer. On the back of the indium phosphide wafer, you can see this is the back contact, gold and zinc. So this is formed by annealing in forming gas. You can see these details are not important for us. You can just understand that this is how the ohmic contact is created. And p-type, the second thing we have to discuss is the p-type wafer. So this is also a zinc doped p-type, where indium phosphide is doped with zinc, you can see. And the thickness of it is 350 micrometer. You can see this is in the nanometer scale. That is why this is so small comparatively. So this is in micrometer. And this is the carrier density, and this percentage of hydrochloric acid used for etching. So there are some native oxides present in the indium phosphide. So for that purpose, we sometimes use HCl as an etchant. So you put the wafer in it for like 30 seconds, then it remove the oxides which is resisting it will generate some resistance, so that will be removed by this etching. So we have created the p-type wafers. Two layers is complete. And third is the titanium dioxide contact. So titanium dioxide contact layer is created using atomic layer deposition, and this is deposited over the indium phosphide layer and titanium isopropoxide and water as precursors. The third is transparent conductive oxide. You have seen the light is coming through here. So transparent conductive oxide is on the one side for taking contacts. So not much to discuss on this. You can this is just a transparent conducting oxide. When you are coming into the class, you can see when we are creating DSSCs, we have a glass. There is a transparent conducting oxides. Two types are there, ITO and FTO. Depends upon your necessity and your cost. You can select one conducting oxide glass. So that is the ITO glass, IT conductive oxide in here. So we connect into that glass so that we can take electrons out. That's what usually happens. So this is the ITO. And so this is the third step. And these are the I have already shown you in here that the complete process flow. This is the process flow we have discussed. And what are the modifications they have done? They changed the thickness. You can see changing the thickness and deposition temperature of titanium dioxide. So they have studied by changing the thickness and deposition temperature of titanium dioxide. We can see the graph later. And they have already also treated the wafer with hydrogen plasma in order to boost the long wavelength response. So we can also see how what is that in the coming graph. And also they have they put this is just for illustrative purpose. So there is this piranha solution, so they it can eliminate indium residues. So it is actually a clear solution. While doing the serious researches, you can make it yourself. Okay, then the first point, we can discuss the first point: changing the thickness and deposition temperature of titanium dioxide. How? So you can see when they change the thickness of the atomic layer deposition atomic layer deposited titanium dioxide, you can see how the voltage, the open circuit voltage of the cell changes. You can see when the thickness is very 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 low, the voltage, open circuit voltage is nearly 525. And you can see when it is in between 20, 10 and 20, the open circuit voltage is at the maximum, and then it is reducing. You can see this is the voltage, this is the thickness. So you can see this is 725 or something, and this is the maximum which we are getting by varying the thickness. So when thickness is changed, increased from 20, then you can see voltage is decreasing. So I want you to see the correlation. You can see the temperature, the voltage have the same. So when the temperature is 100 degree, the low temperature, we are getting the maximum voltage, open circuit voltage. But when the deposition temperature is 300 degree, that means you deposit titanium dioxide at 300 degrees Celsius and you make the solar cell, then the solar cell's open circuit voltage is very low. You can see 700. Similarly, you deposit at 100 degrees Celsius, then you have open circuit voltage high. So basically, we need to make the deposition at this indicates that you need to make the cell at titanium dioxide deposition at a lower temperature, and the thickness should be in between 10 to 20 nanometer. Okay, and this next one is effect of titanium dioxide contact. So they made a solar cell with the ITO and indium phosphide alone. You can see this is the IV characteristic. This is the IV characteristics. You know why it is like this. Usually we change this graph in the way that we study in our class. You might have you already know it. So it's voltage and current will be in a different axis, so that it looks like this. But in here, this is current is in here and voltage is in here, so the graph looks like this. So it doesn't make any change. So you can see the voltage is more and the current is more, then basically more efficiency and more fill factor also. So when use the titanium dioxide layer in between indium phosphide and this conducting oxide, you can see there is a huge difference in the efficiency, in the voltage, in the current. There is a huge difference. So when current is minus 25, it means that it is more current. It doesn't mean that it is less current. It means more electrons are produced. And what is the effect of hydrogen plasma treatment? You can see this is quantum efficiency. You can see in here, and this black is without hydrogen plasma. You can see when no hydrogen plasma, then you can see the spectral response in here. See, a spectral response means you can see if it is 400, you can see only 80 percentage absorption and electron generation is happening, 80 percentage only. And you can see when it is 900, wavelength is the wavelength of the incident radiation is 900, only 40 percentage quantum efficiency is there. So basically you can see when they are doing the hydrogen plasma treatment, you can see the spectral response become good. That is affecting in the efficiency. So the efficiency is more. And also you can see in the background, this is the reflectance you can see. So I told you that boosting this response without changing any other things, so the reflectance is not changing. You can see without or with hydrogen plasma, reflectance is the same, but absorbance increased, efficiency increased, quantum efficiency increased. And that effect you can see in the efficiency voltage, current voltage graph, IV graph. You can see in here, earlier it is 25, now it is 30 milliampere. You can see the difference. The red one is favoring and the black one is the initial. And this one is you can see there is an increase in you can see a slight increase. This red one is current, slight increase in the current when this is This one is just indium phosphide and conducting oxide, and this is with the titanium dioxide layer, this point, and this is with all plasma treatment, titanium oxide layer and everything. So you can see these 3 points are always higher than these 3 points. So the one is voltage, another one is current, another one is efficiency. In overall, when you are looking at it, these as and only in the case of voltage, when you are doing the hydrogen plasma treatment, it is not changing. But you can see with the titanium dioxide deposition, this is little bit increased, the voltage is increased, current is increased, efficiency is increased. So initially I have shown you the final solar cell structure already. So this is the final solar structure with this efficiency and short circuit current, also open circuit voltage. This is actually not exactly the unit. This is actually only 7 this is actually only 734 millivolt. So I wanted to show you together in this graph. So I have multiplied, I made it in the voltage and multiplied it with the 10. Then only it is you can see this together with the efficiency and JAC. I could also show on another graph, but I wanted to show it like this so that you can relate. And this is in this paper, actually this is not a presentation by myself, this is a paper presentation. So you have, all of you are already familiar with the paper, so you can, this reference is from that paper. So you can see this is the first experiment which I have told you, very expensive solar cell, MOCVD based. And its speciality is it's a homojunction solar cell, same material. So you can see, same material, you use the indium phosphide and make n type, do some doping or something, you make n type, and same indium phosphide you make it p type also, p type and n type both. So there will be a pn junction, that kind of a cell is homojunction cell. So you can see the efficiency is 22.1. This is titanium dioxide, indium phosphide. In this work which we have discussed, it have 19.2. This is a heterojunction because we are using two different materials, indium phosphide and titanium dioxide. Indium phosphide is p type, titanium dioxide is n type. So this is another one, buried homojunction. In this case also indium phosphide, actually indium phosphide is working as n type and p type. So you can see, but it is inside, it's not, you cannot find a specific um, end edge point, you cannot find a junction in here. So it will be all over, maybe n type and tp type. So that kind of solar cell, it is having an efficiency 18.9. And another one, in the beginning we have discussed this, cadmium sulfide as a window layer, that one have 17.4%. So what is the benefit of this work? Because this is less costlier than this MOCVD, that is the benefit, less costlier and more efficiency. So, in conclusion, we can say they have demonstrated a simple heterojunctions titanium dioxide indium phosphate solar cell with 19.2% efficiency, and their hydrogen treatment improves the spectral response. We have seen quantum efficiency measurements. And the another one is the cell configuration provides promising route towards low cost large area third five photovoltaics. The third five volt photovoltaics is famous for high efficiencies. So high efficiency, so basically for them low cost large area photovoltaics, towards that idea this paper is contributing a lot. Thank you, sir.